great to meet you. I'm looking forward to getting into the new single based on Mary Oliver and your history in music. So thank you so much for taking a minute out today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You bet. So to before we get into your music, I want to begin with living through COVID. 5 years ago, everybody's calendar went away. Everything changed. There was so much going on in the jazz community. How did you make it through, and how has it affected the way that you approach music now?
So, during COVID, so basically just before COVID, I wrote my first album, that is the Cathy Sark Suite, when I was at Goldsmith. And then COVID came. We managed to record the album, but it was difficult to promote it. So
Yeah,
it's quite tough. We didn't do a release gig because everything was shut down.
yeah,
Then, during the second wave of COVID, I wrote my second album, Growing Roots, and it was difficult so there to promote it because everything was shut down. So, like, basically, all my albums are like linked to a pandemic part of the world. So I hope this one will be fine, so nothing bad will happen with this one. And it gave me time, I think, because I couldn't find any jobs during that period, because also I teach saxophone, and teaching saxophone was forbidden here because it's a woodwind instrument.
yeah,
So it's like singing, so you have like air coming out, and it was dangerous.
yeah,
So I find myself like a little sad because I couldn't find any job, so financially it was very, very difficult. And also it was yeah, it was a strange period, but because I'm in Brighton, where we have a lot of nature, hills, the seaside, so I just start walking every day.
yeah,
And this is what linked me a lot with nature, because I find that even if I was struggling inside, like nature was so beautiful. I was thinking that like the sun, the seaside, the hills, they don't care about me. They don't care if I'm sad. They are just there for everyone.
yeah,
They don't care if I become famous, if I don't become famous, if I'm earning 1,000 pounds a day or £1 a month. So, and it make you feel like I don't know, that you are very small, and there is a world outside you that
yeah,
sometimes we don't see because we are very focused on ourselves and how we feel. It
yeah,
is good,
yeah.
but I think it helped me a lot to reflect. So that period, that was a very bad period, helped me a lot with my music, to like focus on what I was writing, I think.
So talk to me a little bit about the single Mary, obviously Mary Oliver moves you quite a bit. Talk to me a little bit about this single and what's been going on with music lately.
So the single is about Mary Oliver because I discovered her book in a library in Italy, and I just read the collection of her poems like in 1 hour. And then I bought another book and another book because it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was so excited. And so what I did basically is to write a poem by myself about her relation with nature, because she was quite strange. She had like a house near the woods, and she said that she was collecting stones, and so that the stones could drink the water of the vase where she put the stones in the vase. So she thought that like nature was alive, even if like stones, that we think that stones are not like live elements.
Yeah.
She had like this special connection with nature. So I like this. And I wrote, so the first part of the song is basically a poem that I wrote for her. And then I start the song with the lyrics. And I wrote this song when I was in Italy in August. I remember it was like 40 degrees. I was melting, but it was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Sorry, writing this song. It was very, very good moment for me.
Do
And
you
it's
write?
part, yeah,
Oh, I'm
sorry.
sorry. I was wondering, do you write a lot of poetry?
I try to write poetry. When I was a child, like when I was 8 years old, I started to write my own poems.
Yeah.
And remember the teacher at school said to me, "Oh, you have to do math, not poetry, because math is what is important, not writing poems." And I said, "Yeah, but I want to write poems,
Yeah.
really." To do like think. And also, my dad is a poet,
Okay. Okay.
like so
So
thinking me.
yeah, so speaking of your dad, take me back to your beginnings in Italy. How did the saxophone and jazz music become the pursuit, become your career?
So basically, when I was a child, I started to play the saxophone at 8 years old. But I didn't want to play the saxophone. But my mom said, "Oh, saxophone is very beautiful, and also it's very original for a woman to play saxophone." Because at the age, like I think it was 1998, something like that,
Yeah.
everyone was playing the violin, the piano. So it was very like female instruments, and then there was like there were male instruments. And so my mom said to me, "Oh, please play the saxophone. That is very original." So I started to play the saxophone, even if I didn't really like the saxophone. But then after a while, it became my great passion. And also, I had a friend of my family in Italy that was very keen on jazz. So he was a organizer of festivals in Italy, in a little town near Milan. So since I was a kid, I was going to this jazz concert. Like to see like very famous saxophone player. So, but I didn't care at that time because I was so small. I don't know, like jazz for me was too difficult basically at the beginning to appreciate really. I think in my 20s I started to feel okay, this is my music. But at the beginning it was very hard for me to understand what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eh,
So who were some early influences? Who were you listening to that like really kind of made you helped you find your voice or just music that you loved in the jazz world?
So at first I started to listen to Charlie Parker. Then I fell in love in my 20s with Chet Baker a lot because also he was a singer. And also I like to play the trumpet and then sing and then play the trumpet. And also he was speaking a lot about the connection between voice and woodwind instrument, like, even if it's a brass instrument, the trumpet, but like yeah, to put like instruments and voice together. So I loved Chet Baker a lot, then Jerry Mulligan, then I went to my Miles Davis period, then yeah, I think this one the early influences, like early.
So
Then Wayne
what
Shorter.
I'm sorry, no, what's that?
Then Wayne Shorter was like the big
Yeah,
hero. It was
absolutely.
my
So what was the early jazz show you saw live or early concert that inspired you and made you think that you wanted to get on stage one day and do that with your life?
um let me think about it. I think was wait. Sorry, I have a moment like too much. I think it was George Cable's concert
Oh yeah.
that I saw in this festival. It is Arese Jazz Festival in Italy,
Yeah.
and I think with Piero Dorici on soprano saxophone.
Yeah.
And I think that in that moment I say, okay, I want to do this because it was like amazing.
Yeah.
It was
That's
very beautiful concert.
yeah. So what made you move from Italy to the UK?
My husband, Andrea, that I met in Italy, but he was already living in the UK.
Okay.
And he said to me, "Oh, you have to come here because in UK you can like live with like as a musician. When in Italy is not so easy to live as a musician. Maybe now it's easier than the UK because the UK has a little crisis moment, let's
Yeah.
say like that." And I remember I came here and I was doing some jazz session And everyone was, oh my God, it's amazing. And I say, wow, so people appreciate me and what I do. So it was not a strange thing. It was like normal for them to see like someone playing. But in Italy, it was still like, yeah, a close things
Yeah,
environment.
yeah. So let me ask you this. What do you like the best about being a professional musician?
I like the fact that I can express my own voice. I think it's through music.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think it's very important because sometimes you have something inside that you don't know which channel to use. While being a professional musician, I know that I can always count on my saxophone, on my voice, on my writing as composer, and I think it's very important.
yeah. So why do you love jazz?
I like jazz because it's for me is freedom because you can there is no one jazz. So like there are jazz it's for me it's like a melting pot where you can put different influences inside but it's still jazz and also I like a lot the improvisation part, the dialogue with other musicians, the fact that you build something with the other people as well. So it's not just okay, you play this, you play this, you play this but it's like playing together and change what you are playing every time you play it. So it's while me, for example, pop music, you have like always it's the same things, or also classical music. Sometimes it's always you have to read what is to play what is written. While jazz, it's freedom is completely up to you, and I
Yeah.
like this.
So have you been to America? Is that on your radar of coming here and playing?
I've never been to America.
Okay.
I would love to go
Yeah.
to America.
S- So let me ask you this. Do you miss Italy? Do you ever want to go back or you miss it?
I miss the food.
Yeah.
I miss, I miss the sun. I miss the fact to just go sitting in a bar and find some friends and have a dinner for a reasonable price. It's very good.
So what's going on for promotion? What's coming up for you as far as shows and releasing music? What's going on here and as we get into the warm months?
So I started now a Kickstarter campaign today because Mary is out from today with a beautiful video done by Josh Lelo. It is an American, he is American videographer, but he's living in the UK. And so this is the Kickstarter campaign until the 30th of May. Then we have a show on the 14th of June at Petersfield Jazz and Blues Festival in the UK on the South Coast. And then we have the release gig on the 24th of July at Toulouse-Lautrec in London. But before the album will be released on the 18th of July
Okay.
on all platforms.
So if anyone wants to pick up a copy pre-order, is Bandcamp the best place?
It's Bandcamp, yeah, but
Okay.
also if anyone wants to help us to print the CDs, it can during this period because there is a Kickstarter campaign. I can send the CDs also to America.
Okay, excellent. Very good. If you don't mind sending me that link, that would be great. I'll make sure I put it
Yeah,
in the show notes. That'd be
thank
great.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if anyone else wants to catch up on any of your previous work with your quartet or anything else,
Bandcamp. I
okay,
think Bandcamp is the best place. Yeah.
okay,
And also
excellent.
my social media.
Okay, wonderful. This has been great. Betty, thank you so much for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with the release and everything else. It's great to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Jazz
thank you.
fans, Joe Domino here, the host of the weekly Neon Jazz radio show and regular interview series being produced and distributed from Lee Summit, Missouri. We are very excited to let you know about the second annual Lee Summit Jazz Festival taking place again this summer on June 28th at the Bridge Space, located at 210 Southwest Market Street in downtown Lee Summit. Following the success of the 2024 festival, the lineup will include Lee Summit students, Casey Area Youth Jazz, Paganova with Michael Pagan, Horoscope with Stan Kessler, Brad Gregory, Adam Larson, and the Lee Summit Jazz Orchestra. There will also be food trucks and vendors to round out a day of celebration. Early bird tickets are 2 for $30, and all details can be found at lsjazzfest.com. We can't wait to see you there.